The message saying ACC FCW unavailable service required is a long-standing problem in the Dodge Durango that started about 2015 and hasn't been yet resolved by Stellantis. Unfortunately, this message rarely means that your camera is just blinded, but of course you need to check it first. So the ACC stands for the Adaptive Cruise Control and FCW stands for Forward Collision Warning. These systems totally depend on three basic things in your car: the front camera located behind the interior mirror, the radar behind the front bumper, and also a control module that covers these systems. Wiring is another important thing that may cause this warning to pop up. First of all, you should check that nothing blocks the camera view and there is no blockage in the radar area. The radar is located in the bottom part of the front bumper and it's very often covered with road mud, especially if the weather is not good. But in this case, you will most likely see other messages that won't scare you with the service required words. Anyway, checking this is the first thing that will cost you nothing. The second thing to check is your battery. Since modern Stellantis cars are very voltage dependent, checking the battery with a simple multimeter does nothing. You will need a load tester or just go to a battery store and let them test it professionally. Also, don't forget that your model years may have the main and the auxiliary 12-volt battery, and both of them need to be checked. Also, you should know that Stellantis radars and cameras are pretty bad when it comes to poor weather. The manufacturer even issued a TSB, or let's say a letter to dealerships to explain that ACC FCW problems are often connected to weather and they shouldn't provide customers with any repairs unless the warning is constant and there are various serious diagnostic trouble codes stored in the system. They clearly state in that letter that dealerships should reassure the customer that this is a normal system behavior to warn the driver of the temporary unavailability of the system, which is pretty weird, and it also proves that the problem is very common. Anyway, there are two most common things that lead to the ACC FCW unavailable service required message. The radar may have lost its calibration or the camera unit requires replacement. In some rare cases, the control modules may have glitchy software or be broken, but there is almost no chance dealership can locate this issue. So if the car is not on warranty and the problem is intermittent, you may choose just to put up with this because they will start throwing parts at the problem trying to solve it. If your car has been in any minor accident that could potentially damage the front bumper even slightly, the problem is most likely with the poor alignment of the radar. The metal bracket holding this radar is pretty thin and it may lose its shape very easily after any slight impact. As a result, the radar will lose its calibrations and won't be able to recalibrate. In this case, the radar mount should be replaced and then the calibration should be completed in the dealership. If this doesn't help, the problem may be in the radar damage. Also, I've heard about several cases when dash cameras, Bluetooth devices, or some other equipment affected the work of the camera and the ACC FCW warning popped up on the dash. So if you have an internet communication module in your car or have just installed some additional equipment, you may try to take it out of the vehicle and check if it helps you solve the adaptive cruise control problem. And one more thing, if your adaptive cruise control doesn't work, it doesn't mean you can't use a simple cruise control. In the Dodge Durango, you will just use another button to activate it, since there are two different buttons for the ACC and traditional speed maintenance cruise control. Given the problem is absolutely common for the Durango, a lot of owners just choose to drive like this, since repairing this thing may eventually cost you thousands of dollars with little to no effect.